morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone around the world. I'm Paul Sisler, and this is In the Moment. Today, we have the flow with Shadow Fox, and we are going to talk a little bit about pain management. Now, she's going to have a few things that she's going to talk about in relation to it, and I'm going to have a few things that I'm going to talk about it since I deal with pain on a daily basis. So we're kind of going to get a couple different perspectives here on it. Um, there you go. And hello, Shadow Fox.
Hi. Oh, happy holidays, everyone. I just have to put that out there. Doesn't matter what holidays you celebrate, or even if you don't celebrate the holidays, it's just a glorious time. That's all.
Yep.
So,
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and whatever else is out there, our blessings.
yes,
Yep.
yes.
All right. So, how are
So,
you today?
very well, actually. I'm still trying to get some of my energy. It's just overcoming COVID, I guess. I don't know. So, yeah, I'm still a little sluggish, I think. But moseying on, it's just getting an immune upgrade. That's all I consider it. So yeah,
Yes. Yes. How's Lee doing?
yes. He's actually resting. Yeah, he's it's kind of kicking his butt a little bit too. So he's just resting, but
All right. All
he'll
right.
be better. Yeah. So anyway, no, I'm just trying to come up with some thing different aspects of healing or how we can empower ourselves. Um, so I thought we'd kind of talk about, pain, overcoming pain. Sometimes pain can get so bad, especially nerve pain, let me tell you. Um, but um, there are things that we can do through visualization, imagination, pretending, okay? um, that we can help assist our bodies in managing, pain. Actually, our bodies really has the greatest pain um, component, for combating pain um, in our own bodies. It's like we can really produce our own morphine, actually. Um, so I know it sounds strange. I know it sounds weird, but truly we can. Again, it doesn't take a little diligence. hmm Sure it does. But yeah, I've done it. There's many other people that have done it. So um, I just thought we'd give a few things. I'm gonna suggest a book that can help those who, depending on where they're looking at healing, that they can, um, get the book, work with it if they choose to, and it's just another tool for the toolbox, really. All right, and then later on, Paul, I thought we'd put in there breathing technique, which triggers and activates the vagus nerve. And through the vagus, and there are so many different things that can be done through the vagus nerve. And I think if people can learn how to access that, and there's many ways to do it. You can do it through yoga, exercise, intent, breathing, and there's a YouTube video. I thought maybe you would be able to play if we can key it up for the right thing so we can see it and hear it. Um, because this is a great breathing technique that you can utilize at any point in time. This one is more designed for like those who perhaps, whether it be like anxiety or depression or whatever, the mechanisms are still the same. And the reason that I like it is because it turns that automatic um, fight or flight response, that survival mode, it kind of keys it down. And so, if we're going to be working through visualization and all of this, that we come to kind of like that zero, so that actually start manufacturing your own pain medication.
Okay.
So
Well,
I think it's just a technique. It's a tool. There's many different ones. This is one of them. That's all.
yeah, that last sentence that you had, you need to repeat that. You started to break up there.
Which
So
one?
you were
Oh, did I? Which one?
yeah, you were starting to talk about the back or something.
The back?
Yeah, or
No, I didn't mention.
medication.
Yes, yeah, we can definitely manufacture our own morphine within our own body without having, like the actual
Drug.
drug, right? Yeah. Yeah, so we can actually these hormones that are in our bodies. Like if when you think about it, what happens when you have an adrenaline rush, right? And um, something happens and you got to lift the car off of somebody or something, that adrenaline hits you and you don't feel pain whatsoever. And this is that aspect of doing it but without the adrenaline. Okay, so
Right.
yeah, you know so
Uh,
you have some issues with pain, I hear.
yes, yes. I had an L3 L4 fusion,
Hmm.
and when I had that fusion and all that, they put hardware in my back.
Hmm.
Hardware in my back, and when what happens is when they put that hardware in, what they do is they're allowing the bones to fuse together, and with that, with the injury itself, there was nerve damage, and all the nerves from L2 down to S1. There's damage, and it goes into my legs, and I have severe lower back pain, severe leg and feet neuropathy. The pain is very severe. The pins and needles, the burning sensation. Um, if you've ever had your arm fall asleep, you sleep on it wrong, and then it starts to come back awake. Those pins and needles. Now magnify that by
Hmm.
100. Okay, that's the nerve pins and needles, and then that burning sensation that goes with that. Again, magnify it by 100. That's what I live daily, and um, what happened was is that when you have those pins and rods in your back, the muscle is supposed to grow up over it, form like a sheath over it. Mine grew in
Hmm.
between. So now every time I would move, I would rip and tear muscle and things like that. And they kept wanting to put me on morphine sulfate, oxycodone, Percocet, um, um, your um, um, I always forget the name of it. Anyways, all these different painkillers, and I have an addictive personality. I can't take this stuff and not get addicted to it. So I quit taking it.
Yeah.
And I live with that pain. Well, then they had to remove that hardware. And again, the pain that I go through on a daily basis. Um, it's been The accident was in 2011. In 2014, they told me I probably wouldn't be able to walk again. I'm still walking. They said I'd have about 5 years if I was lucky. That was in 2014. It's 2022, almost 2023. I'm still walking. A lot of that is the mind. The mind plays a huge role in that.
Hmm.
I do not accept the fact that I'm going to not walk. I do everything I can. Just this last year, I was able to start doing push-ups. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm now able to do a pull-up, where prior to my accident, I was doing over 200 push-ups a day and over 100 pull-ups a day.
Okay.
Okay. And because of the pain and the potentiality of damage, I've had to slowly work my way back into any kind of
Hmm.
physical fitness routine. So the pain, I don't know how to explain it. I just simply live with it. I deal with it.
Hmm.
I don't over push myself. Um, some people were like, well, I don't see how you can do this. I don't, I can't understand. You know, your pain must not be as bad as you think. As you well know, I had an abscessed tooth just a while
Yeah.
back,
Yeah.
and I had been living with an abscessed tooth for over 3 years. Now, anyone that knows tooth pain, okay, for me, the tooth pain was nothing.
Not exactly. Yeah. 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 Oh, you froze. Are you there? Oh. Um. Well, we may be having some technical difficulties here. I'm not even sure if anybody can hear me. um. Paul. Oh my goodness. This is fun. Um. I don't. Paul. I have no clue. So talking. Well, um, anyway, I guess this is a perfect time. I have no idea what happened to him. Um, so I have no idea if I'm actually. It says we're still live, so sorry guys. You know this is a technical difficulties. It's like oh my. Um, I don't know where Paul went. Uh-oh. Maybe he's trying to come back in. Well, for those of you, just in case this is still going on, if you are experiencing pain within your physical body for whatever reasons, whether it be an injury, um, could whatever for whatever cause. Oh, here he comes. Here you
Wow,
go.
that was weird.
I
I got
have
like,
no idea. Yeah, I have no idea. I was trying. I don't know. I don't know if I was still live or not, or if anybody got. I have no idea.
no, we
So
got some kind of, I got
you
some
know.
kind of a surge on my computer, and it just went out. Yeah, it's just like,
Oh.
yeah. I mean, I heard it. It was like a, and then the computer went off and restarted.
Oh my goodness. Well, the thing was, it was strange because the thing kept reading that I was live. You left, and then it was just me, and I'm like, oh no, what are we? So I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. Um, so if this is repeated, sorry guys, but I can't tell. So, um, you were speaking about how nerve pain and having an abscess tooth and the
Yes,
nerve pain that it and with nerve pain for a tooth, it's like every single beat of the heart, right? You can feel that pulse of pain, right?
yes,
Um, so anybody that's ever had a cavity or a toothache, boy, it hurts. And I can say that nerve pain um, actually is worse than tooth pain. And the same thing that you had experienced, Paul, I also had an injury. L5S1 was affected. I do have pins and rods. Um, the surgery was unsuccessful. There was a lot of nerve damage that had been done, and pain was tremendous. I mean, I
yeah,
could lay in bed and the muscles of my back would literally shake like this.
yes,
Like
yes,
one side would do this and the other side. And so the entire bed would shake. So it would be like I was not having an epileptic seizure, but the triggering mechanisms from the nerves were triggering those muscles to contract. And same thing with my leg. And pins and needles, it was like feeling like you were being stung, that burning sensation. So I fully understand that level of pain. I was on very, very heavy medications. They were trying everything. And I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you guys this flat out. There is not a pain medication out there that they can develop that helps take pain away. The only thing it does is put your mind at an area that you don't give a shit.
Right.
Or you just don't care.
Right.
It's kind of like it masks everything, but you're still very, very well aware that you're in pain.
Yes. Yes.
You really are. There's not a chemical drug out there. And this is what I kind of like to talk about because in our own physical bodies, we have those chemicals that do take care of the pain. But many people just don't know how to access it. And
Right.
so now I don't necessarily have that addictive personality. Now, with when I was on all those heavy medications, it was more of my body was dependent on it so that I could actually get out of bed and like go to the bathroom. Um, the the everything in my life, it was had just changed because of pain. Um, Unable to move. Sometimes I'd be standing there and talking with you, and then the next thing you're going like this, looking down because I'm on the ground. Now, I've worked diligently, and I'm going to give some of the mechanisms that I personally have utilized in order to work through this. Now, am I still injured? Yeah, 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 of course. Do I still feel the pain? Yeah, of course. But it does not have control over my life. I've been able to live my life and do different things that a few years ago I would not have been able to do so. Again, I found the why. Um, and so in doing so, I found my own personal why. And it was like everything from, no, these drugs are killing me. They were changing my DNA. They were changing my personality. It was, I mean, affecting my liver. And it's like when you go from one thing to another, and it's like, okay, so if it's affecting your liver, then okay, now we've got other things going on. Um, and I will tell you, it was not easy, okay, because I had been on some of these very, very strong medications um, for quite some time. And literally, it was cold turkey. I went up. It was within one single month, and I was done.
Same
I
here.
had no more within 1 month. And no, no, it wasn't fun. But you know what? Um, I honestly can't see myself ever, ever going back to do so. So I will do everything within my power um, so that I don't experience that form of pain. The pain was so bad I couldn't meditate. I truly could not focus. I mean, like, you know how you have difficulty quieting your mind? I
Mhm.
couldn't even get there. It was affecting every aspect of my life. And I meditate, okay? That is a part of my, daily practice. Um, and I couldn't even focus. It was just terrible. So,
That's what I did to begin with, and all that. I got off of everything probably within the first month.
yeah,
Completely, just that's it. I'm not doing it.
that's it.
And,
Yep.
I was talking about the toothache and all that. The abscess tooth, the
Uh-huh.
pain is so minimal compared to the pain that I
Yes.
live
Hmm.
that it actually I started to go septic. It almost killed me.
Yeah.
So when you have things that are going on, because the pain is there to tell you that there's something serious. The more severe the pain, the
Hmm.
more serious the problem is.
Hmm.
Okay. But when we have pain that overrides pain because of its severity,
Yeah.
we tend to neglect certain things, like I did with my tooth. Like I said, it almost killed me. And then for me, when I quit taking it, like you said, it's really, really hard to begin with. I literally would just get up, walk around, sit down, lay down, and the
Yeah.
whole time I was crying.
Oh
I
yeah. Yep.
crying, crying, and crying because
Yep.
you don't
Yep.
want to be here. Quality of life is no
Yep.
longer worth being here for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
My husband used to have to put me in the back of a van just to get me to a doctor's appointment. And I would literally be in so much pain, tears. I literally came to my eyes. Not that I was crying upset or anything. It's just the amount of pain. It was just like, why am I here? So with that, because I don't really care to, I'm not gonna get into it and spend too much time on it, but recognize that um, I would not be able to sit for more than, 15,
yeah,
maybe 20 minutes. That would be pushing it. Okay.
sitting, standing, laying down, yes, 15, 20 minutes, you got to constantly move.
Yeah, exactly.
No
Now,
sleep.
there are times, I mean, I'm not completely out of the woods. All right. Let's just face facts. I mean, um, I the nerve damage that was done. And this is what I was kind of looking to speak about because I had the nerve conduction, tests done where they measured one leg to the other, and there was quite a bit of difference.
Right.
And so, quite honestly, I'd never have one of those done again in my entire life. I don't give a shit. I'm sorry, don't mean to swear, but I will tell you what, when you have a let and the nerves are, you know, aggravated anyway, let's throw some electric little punches in there and see what's going to happen.
Let's
Well,
get
yeah,
this little needle up into your skin and underneath and in through, and yeah, you're gonna feel a little pinch. Yeah, I know it's a little painful. Just hold on. Let me get it all the way.
yeah, we
Yeah,
just want to see where the muscle's going to do, right? Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Tears on the way home, right?
yeah.
Yeah, never again.
You're gonna
Sorry, I'm
feel a
not a
little.
guinea pig. No, no, don't
You're
care to
gonna
be
feel a little
electrocuted.
electrical buzz. A little tingle my ass. Stop, motherfucker. Oh, oh yeah. No, no, I know.
Okay, so let's offer. All right, Paul. Let's offer some mechanisms here, to help people because it's we're both Paul and I right now, we are definitely speaking from experience. Okay. And he actually found a way, to work through and get to where he is. So and so have I. Now, neither one of us are 100% yet, but we will be at some point in time. Again, it is a process. That healing mechanism can come in. It can be done overnight or it can take a while. But when you're looking at nerve pain, when the doctors tell you, well, yeah, nerves can't, you can't heal the nerves, right? The myelin sheath. Once that's damaged, well, guess what? Um, yeah, I think I'd beg to differ with that just a little bit, simply because the power of the mind, like mind over matter, the idea of stepping into all possibilities, things like stepping into the flow, recognizing who we are, all of this plays a part, and I'm sorry, but doctors practice medicine, okay? They literally have a license to practice it. What does that mean? Well, I can practice this stuff sitting in my living room through meditation. I'm not taking anything away from the study of being doctors or anything like that. Please don't get me wrong. But they are not always, like when they're going to sit there and tell you there's no cure um, for something. I just, yeah, I don't accept that pill. I'm not taking the blue pill. I'm not taking the red pill. Just sorry, not doing it. Um, So, Paul, if you're ready, what I'd like to do is I'd like if you can play it. I got to pull it up.
Hold on. I got to bring it back up. I lost everything.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Hold on.
I think it put it to 5. And the reason being is, hi, Wayne. Yeah, I'm still alive. Okay, thanks. Because I was trying to talk when you left, Paul. It was like I had no clue. So I was out there all by my lonesome looking like a fool. But that's okay. I don't mind being a fool.
No worries.
So, excuse me. Did you find it?
Yep. Here we go. Hold on.
No, yeah, don't hit it yet. Okay. So this is, did you put it up to 5 seconds or no?
No, not yet.
Oh, I heard the music. I heard it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did.
I'll just simply play it then.
Yep, play it. And
All right.
this is the breathing technique. Before you hit it, this is one of the breathing techniques that can activate the vagus nerve. And when we are always in that fight or flight response, it hits the adrenal glands, all kinds of chemicals are raging through our bodies. And there are so many different things that can be utilized through the vagus nerve. Now, this was one of the methods that I utilized. It was not specifically this breathing technique specifically. There are other ways to access the vagus nerve, but this one I like because it touches with so many different people between like anxiety and depression and so on and so forth. And so it's very, very simple and very easy to learn. And he kind of explains about, what it is. And that's what I like about this. It's a short little video. I think it's like 4 or 5 minutes. But as long as we can hear it, let's go forward and hit it. This is a YouTube video on breathing and the vagus nerve.
Hi, my name is Justin Caffrey, and my aim in these videos is to share with you content that I have learned, researched, and experienced over the last 4 years. 4 years of me finding ways to improve my mood, my health, my wealth, the state of mind that I'm in. How can I wake up and be happy? How can I go to sleep and be happy? And how can I maintain that level of consistency throughout the day? These series of videos that I share with everybody on YouTube are all about helping you find simple ways and means of being happier. And ultimately, this is about sharing a broader experience, because I do coach one-to-one, but not everybody is in a position to be able to avail of my coaching. So I'm sharing content to help you. And today's content, I want to talk about something really cool. It's called the vagus nerve. That's right, the vagus nerve. It's a nerve that is right up here at the top of the head. It runs all the way through the body. It controls everything in many ways that you don't have to think about. So it can control the heart rate, the lungs, your kidney functions, your liver functions, all of the things that keep you happy and healthy and moving along, or so we think. Because at times when things go wrong, the vagus nerve is something that we should be looking at. But also, the great thing is, it's a key contributor to mood. It helps deal with anxiety and depression. It's a hack to get inside them and to take one step ahead of them. Because when you're feeling down, when you're feeling blue, when you're feeling unhappy, you can see that mood, take a look at it, and take a step ahead of it and change your state. Yes, you can change your state. And you can change your state in many ways, but here is a really cool hack on how you can do that through the vagus nerve. So there are many ways of getting into the vagus nerve. One of the simplest and easiest ways to do it is through meditation. So a constant practice every day. But there is a better way, and I like to call it the 5-2-8. It is a simple mechanism that allows you to step inside a happier version of you in a second. And you can use this at times when you're feeling really low, or when you're about to go into a really difficult meeting and you're feeling a bit stressed. Once you feel that anxiety rise in your body, use this to fire up the vagus nerve and calm down the body. It's very simple. All you're going to do is breathe in slowly, counting to 5. So it's a breathe in through the nose, slowly counting to 5. Inhale. And when you get to 5, you're holding your breath for 2 seconds. Just count to 2 in your own mind, hold your breath. And then the really important part is the exhale. So you're breathing out slowly, back out through your nose and slowly counting out to 8. You really want to kind of get that last breath to tail out into the 8th.
Yes.
Do that 3 times. Do the 5 to 8 3 times. Try it now, pause the video, do it, and just see how it makes you feel. Do you feel yourself calming down? This is incredibly old and well documented, huge, beneficial hack, simple little hack to help you. So try it and put it into your little toolbox for when you want to deal with stuff. The vagus nerve can also be tapped into with cold water. So even just putting cold water on your face in the morning fires the vagus nerve. It brings the spirit into a nicer state of mind. And if you can really feel brave about it, try a cold shower. Cold showers change your state of mind as soon as you jump in, but they trigger the vagus nerve and release that anxiety, release that sense of depression and unease. So jump into the cold shower, or slightly less aggressive version is at the end of your normal shower, turn it on to cold, take some of that cold water in. All that you do in the context of enhancing the vagus nerve improves so many things like circulation, like glucose control, like liver function, like kidney function, your general health, your well-being, your happiness. So try it out, tap into it, hack into it, stay with me on YouTube, come back and find out more of my tips, follow me on social media, and please join my tribe and let's try and help each other become happier and healthy and more engaged humans.
There we go.
Okay, so yeah, that was justincaffrey.com. Again, there's many different breathing rhythms in order to do so, but I like this one because it speaks about, the mood. And again, we've got to have a clear head for the most part when we're looking at stepping into different healing components, because if we're going to sit there and go, no, this is never going to happen, I'm going to be in pain for the rest of my life, this illness or dis-ease, it's like, so I think when we're looking at, that part of mind over matter, again, it's just, we breathe all the time, right? All we're doing is changing the rhythm of it. And, when he was talking the vagus nerve, there are so many different things that we can access from the vagus nerve. Actually, we can, and this is what I utilized to bring back the feeling in my leg. And it was just to recreate like the neural pathways so that when the electrical signals were being sent into my leg, that, between the dendrites, that would pick up that information. And so was it a rewiring? Yeah, for the most part it was. And I utilized the vagus nerve in order to do that because I was able to initiate those stem cells. So stem cells, access them there. The same aspect that we can access those powerful pain inhibitors that really run through our body. And again, the vagus nerve starts in the head. It's one of the largest nerves in the body. And so there's, different areas within the body that we can focus on and use our imagination, like we can enter our head and, flip a little light switch, and there's gears and levers in there. And, you can, adjust those pain receptors there. We can flood our bodies with those chemicals that help alleviate pain. And we can always have the intent that nothing is overdone, nothing can be, because it's within our bodies and we are kind of manufacturing this. So again, it's just, with the intent of for our highest and our best, is always a great place to, you know, a point of reference to start from. But technically, that's how I worked within the realm of readdressing those nerves in my body. Um, yeah. So I mean, I can stand, I can walk, I can sit for more than 20 minutes. A few years back, that wasn't the case. So not having medication, and it took. Yeah, I'm telling you, it was not fun. You know, coming off those medications. And doing it in that short amount of time, but technically that was the best way. So that from that point on is where I started to clear my liver, and so on and so forth. And one thing adds to another, adds to another. Um, so again, healing truly is, our bodies are designed to heal. I mean, you get a cut finger, what happens? Do you think about it? Your body just automatically does it. So what happens if we put an intent behind that, like you have a cut finger? Oh my, we can quicken that just by giving it that intent. Now, do I have any medical? No, I don't. This is just, if you try it out and see how it appears in your life, then you're the one that carries that experience. So the only thing we're talking about, well, Paul and I, is through experience. I mean, for either one of us to stand up and say, hey, neither one of us are in a wheelchair. Um, that's something big to say. And for both of us to be able to sit here and do like an hour show, and sit here, like actually sit, that's something big for us. So,
You always see me readjusting. I'm always, as you
yep,
can see, I'm always moving back and forth
yes,
or side to side,
yep,
because
yep,
I anchor my feet down below. I change my sitting position
yep,
because I have to. I
yep.
just
So
can't
do I.
sit in
If
one
you go
spot.
back and look at even some of the other the videos, the shows that Paul or I have done, if you just turn the sound off and fast forward us, you're going to see both Paul and I doing these things, and again, but we have the ability to actually shift those positions where before we didn't.
Right. And now, even though her method of doing things is going to be a little bit different than what mine is, because this is what I
Yeah,
did. And I'm not taking away from anything that she said, just as she's not going to take away from
offering something, another, yes, you got to offer the other. This is just a way. It's not the way.
right.
It's a
You got to remember whenever you're taking in these narcotics, because if you're on a painkiller, okay, if you're on a painkiller, um, people are like, well, Paul, there's ibuprofen, 800 milligrams. Okay. That's not a painkiller.
no.
Okay. It reduces inflammation. All right. That's all ibuprofen does, is it reduces inflammation. Okay. It might, in reducing that inflammation, alleviate some of the pain, but it's not a painkiller. I'm talking your Vicodin, your Percocet, your morphine, all
Yeah,
these things like hydrocodone,
yeah,
oxycodone, hydrogen, oxygen. Okay. These combinations of what you're taking in, they do things to your body. They deplete your water, for one. They dehydrate you because they're taking your oxygen, they're taking your hydrogen. What is water? H2O, two
yeah,
parts hydrogen, one part oxygen. And trust me, hydrocodone and oxycodone, when you start breaking down what their names mean and you go into, you can Google it, you can find out what they pull from your body to make it work. And it's either hydrogen or oxygen. Okay. Um, they're dehydrators. Well, that's not a good thing. And then, of course, they're addictive. That's not a good thing. So, what I did is I didn't do any medications. Now, physical therapy. Physical therapy is a stretching mechanism. It's a loosening up mechanism. It's a
yeah,
motor trigger mechanism.
Yeah.
Okay. I encourage physical therapy. Now, I am I have taken martial arts, Shotokan and Thai kickboxing. Again, part of the reason why I was able to recoup is because of the stretches and exercises that I do, the workouts that I used to do, and everything. After my accident, I had to go to physical therapy a lot,
Mhm.
and basically everything that they were doing in physical therapy is basically the same thing that I did in my martial arts. So I would do all these
Yeah,
things.
physical therapy did not work with me.
Okay,
Couldn't do it.
so
Could not.
physical therapy is a good loosening up.
Mhm.
Okay. You know how if you're a runner, you do all these stretches. If you're a fighter, you do all these stretches. You do all these different things. Whatever sport you're in, you do these stretches to loosen up the muscles. This is basically what physical therapy is, in my opinion. My opinion. Doctors may disagree. My opinion. Physical therapy loosens you up. Massage therapy was my savior. Okay.
Ah.
Massage therapy is going to get in there, and I'm not talking just a nice little back rub. No, I'm talking deep tissue massage where they get in there and they elbow in all those muscles and stuff like that, and they work it. It's very painful. It does not feel good.
Yeah.
Okay. At one point, I was getting 3-hour massages, and trust me, I was crying during the massages. It did not feel good, but it opened up pathways and stuff like that. It released different hormones throughout my body, some dopamine. Certain times, the release of the pain. Eventually, it starts to feel good until they move, to the next spot to work out. But massage therapy was my savior. Now,
Okay.
my nerve damage, I was dealing with drop foot and dead leg. All
Yeah.
right. And for those that don't know, the nerve damage is so bad that if you sit or stay wrong on in a position, you lose the usage of your foot.
Yep.
Okay. Now, on both of my legs, the surface skin has no feeling. It's all dead. Both legs, all dead. Under the skin, I can feel the burning, the pain, the sensations. All right.
Mhm.
This is getting better. I'm starting to get some surface skin feeling back, which means the nerves are healing.
Yep.
And I'm not waking up every morning with a dead foot. Where you said you could get up and go to the bathroom, I would have to pull myself out of bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Floor and pull myself into the bathroom, pull myself up onto the toilet to be able to utilize it. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And Paul, there are, many different ways or different modalities that can help people
Right.
heal. And again, I utilized light source energy again through visualization and imagination, but I had to be able to be there to focus to be able to do so. And when the pain was so bad, I could not create that
You
focus.
can't focus. And give me a second because I want to get to that. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for me, as I was talking about earlier and all that, I would be, whether I was laying, sitting, or walking, I cried a lot.
Mhm.
Quality of life was no more for me in my mind.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And I wanted to go away. All right. And I told my wife that I was going to go away. And my wife was like, well, what am I going to do? And it didn't hit me the effect of my going away on what that would have on other people.
Right.
And I had a wake up moment and realized that she was relying on me for a lot of things. So that changed my mentality. So where I had already doomed myself to being in a wheelchair, my quality of life was nothing but pain, and I didn't want to live anymore. I suddenly had to change that I have no choice. I have to live and I have to get better because I have to be able to provide again.
Yeah.
And that's when I started doing my at-home physical therapy every single day, the loosening up, the bends, the pulls. I got my rope out and I would raise my legs up and do all these stretches. And I became more mobile every day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And even though my legs were deteriorating, and again, it wasn't until the massage therapy that started to improve, which gave me even more hope that I can beat this. My mind is what's healing me because I am telling myself I am not going to be in a chair.
Yep.
I am not going to lose the usage of my legs, and I am going to continue on. Okay. The mind. So, your mindset, you really got to think about this. If you take the mindset, whatever direction you go with, whether you're just simply telling yourself that this isn't going to be my life anymore, or you use what Shadow Fox has shared with you, your mindset, you put your mind into that. I don't care what it is that you utilize, whatever tools you utilize. If you go into the direction of, I'm going to get better, you will.
Yeah. And Paul, and how many, when was the last time when you went to the doctor and the doctor says, if you're, for, you like a little relief with pain, manufacture it yourself in your own body. When was the last time? I've never had a doctor tell me that. Never. Okay. So, can we manufacture or stop those signals? It's like, you can feel like, sometimes I'll get a little stuff or whatever, and immediately I will tell my body, thank you for bringing that to my attention. Instead of going, oh, my aching back is so miserable, blah, blah, blah. You can go on and on and on. It's like, you know what? Life's too short to give a whole lot of energy to that, right? So it's like, I just focused on how I would like my life to present. And so it's like, gee, thank you, body, for reminding me that, I may have overdone it a little bit. I'm a little sore. Okay, well, guess what? Now I'll take a moment. It doesn't take that long. You don't have to sit in meditation for 40 hours to fix, you just don't. Okay.
Right.
You can just envision it and think, just like you said. Once you made up your mind that you weren't going to be in a wheelchair, you weren't going to accept this diagnosis, so to speak. It was like all of a sudden, all of these different things started coming to you. Like, oh wow, okay, well I can actually do that. Like in my case, I could not. So the only thing I had was my mind.
Right.
And it's like when you are not in movement, right? When your body is not in movement, that's when your body actually hurts more. And so when you were able to be in movement, it opened up those channels for you. So
Right.
I had to have another different mechanism in order to do so. And I'm going to share that with you guys in just a moment. But we can very easily, and you guys can get as creative as you like. Okay, I mean, it's like, this is a way, it's not the way. You can think of
Correct.
in your head, you can think of it as the on off switch. You can think of it, oh well, I got to have a little more release from this pain. Please send a little more uh, uh, hormonal morphine, your own morphine, down and release that pain enough so that I can get on with my day. Because there's not a pain medication out there that will ever take away pain, except for the ones that we create ourselves. Again, you can get creative with it. You can access it through meditation. You can access it through, visualization. I mean, there's been people who are on a plane and you high anxiety or whatever, and it's like, oh, would you like a sleeping pill? Oh no, thank you very much, I'll just manufacture my own. And that's a true thing. I will, if my body is requiring something like that, I know my body can produce it, simply for creating it within my own awareness. Now, I know this sounds really weird. For those who have never been privy to this or anything else, um, how are you going to know unless you try, right? My son was very, very young. He was about 5 years old, and he was messing around with a picnic table and trying to unscrew bolts and some other stuff, and just playing. And he had gotten a really, really bad gash, and there was a huge splinter that had actually broken off and was in there and in his finger, and had to get the splinter out. But there was a lot of blood, and quite honestly, he probably should have had like sutures, or a suture. I had the butterfly bandages. I always had them on hand. But I looked at my son and I told him, I says, you know what? I said, hun, I said, it's good that the blood's coming because it's cleaning out the wound, but now is the time and you can stop this. And he looks at me, 5 years old. He says, I can, mommy. I said, yeah. I says, just tell your finger, to slow the blood down. And it will. And you know what? He did it right
Mhm.
in front of me. And I'm like watching it, and I'm not putting pressure or anything on. Again, I was trying to make sure that that was getting cleaned, right? Um, and sure enough, my son did that. And not only that, and I told him, I says, and you can tell that wound to start knitting, like sew itself up, because you remember grandma, how she would do knitting or sewing. Yeah, I remember that, Mom. And guess what? He was able to do it, and he was 5 years old. So as we're coming through, I think it's also what we've been told. It's like we always give our power away the moment. Now, what would happen if I scooped that my child up, put him in the back of the car, and rushed him down to the emergency room? Now, I'm not saying that that's not, there are times that, yeah, that really has to happen. But there are, if we can teach our children and ourselves that many of these things we can take care of. And yes, that probably should have had a suture. But do you know within the very next day, that finger was already knitting up? Went upstairs, cleaned off his hand, I wrapped the bandage, put some, ointment on it, wrapped the bandage. Um, and you know what? To this day, he can't even barely see where there was a scar there. So he actually did it so there was no scar. So I'm just saying there are possibilities. Um,
Uh,
it's what our mind can conceive. And very quickly, Paul, I would like to address something because
mhm,
I did have a lot of help in what I was doing.
mhm.
Again, I couldn't do the physical things like you did. I could not get that deep
Right,
massage. The nerves were just scattered off. I could not do it.
right.
Um, so what I'd like to do is, if you have it, I'm going to speak on it for a moment because this is a book. Again, you have to have an open mind in order to. Uh, you definitely have an open mind because this book can help bring healing into the physical body, both in all four aspects, which would be physical, mental, emotional, and astral. In order for the physical body to begin healing, it must first be addressed in the etheric. Plain and simple. This is why what fails in many capacities. Like for instance, someone has a disease and it goes into remission, and all of a sudden it comes back with a vengeance. Well, the reason being is because it was not addressed in the etheric. Now, there could be people out there, oh, what does all this mean? Well, again, step in, start doing your own research, start looking outside of the box, is all I can say. This book, I was at a point where the pain was so bad. Okay. It was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Um, I was, during that month time when I was eliminating all medications from my life, pain was really bad. And I had literally put out a clarion call to my guides. It was like, I have to have help with this, because this is like right now I'm in the muck and the mire. And we happened to be in town, and there was a small little bookstore, and I had gone into it. I had to have movement, right? I had to do some form of movement, and went into this little bookstore. It was like half a mile from my house. And lo and behold, out comes a book. It just jumps off from the shelf. There was nobody else in this building, nobody around, and I happened to look down, and I'm going to share the book with you. Again, it talks about, and I do have to say this, okay, it is called The Map. It is a co-creative White Brotherhood. It is the medical assistance program by Michelle Smallwright. Now, people are going to say, White Brotherhood, da 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 da. Well, no. What it is from the Ascended Masters. And the Ascended Masters, somebody somewhere along eons ago decided to call them the White Brotherhood, because they come of the light. Okay, so it's got nothing to do with any political agenda anywhere in any country or anything like that. It's like, no. I can say they're not necessarily happy with that name that kind of stuck, but they are the Ascended Masters. The Ascended Masters are those who actually lived in this physical plane and passed on, and literally served the light. Okay, Christ is one. Saint Germain's another one. There are many Ascended Masters. You can Google it. But this book, and you don't just throw the book out from the title because it's got White Brotherhood. No, this is the Ascended Masters. And like I said, unless it is healed within the etheric first, it won't take full root, full course within the physical body. It has to be dealt with there first. And this book helps that happen. And so I'm going to show. Can you pull that up for them or no?
Yeah, I didn't redo it. Do you have it? Yeah.
Okay. Can you see it or no?
Yeah, can see it. Perfect.
All right. So
Right
it's
there.
by
Down, just right there. Perfect.
perfect. Okay, it's by Michelle Smallwright, and it's called MAP. Now, the medical assistance program. Guess what you guys get? You actually get a medical team that's on the other side. They're your like spirit guides. They're I mean, whether you a form of belief or not, sometimes we do have to step out of the box. Is this book for everybody? No, it should be. It should be a mandatory read, and I think every single doctor anywhere in the world, I think, should have to have this as a prerequisite. I think they should have to read it, because the ability that the human body has to heal itself, and this works within the etheric, the energy bodies. All right, you get a team. It's like a team of doctors, and they're yours. And wow, they're for your highest and your best. This is the exact book that my guides literally threw at my feet when I was in that, and I was like, oh my. And yeah, so I read it, I applied, I did read right along like everybody. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, got it. Um, and this was the book that literally helped me. Um, I mean, I couldn't even have chiropractic service at all. They couldn't. There was not a chiropractic doctor out there that would even touch me, would even come close.
Right.
No, back. Seriously. So I had to find other ways, and this was the book that my guides literally threw at my feet, and I picked it up gracefully, graciously, and with blessings abundant. And quite honestly, it's been, if it weren't for this, I may definitely not even be here because the pain was so bad. It was like, no, 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 I'm not going to live my life like this. So again, these are, thinking outside the box. Um, there are definitely different programs, and this is one of them. The mathematical medical assistance program. It's a good book.
All right. And I got a couple things I want to add to that. Now, when Shadow Fox was talking about the little 5-year-old and the bleeding finger,
My
uh,
son.
I want you to, for those that are out there, now, I shave, okay? And when you shave, you get these little nicks and they bleed. And I used to be one of those guys that would take some tissue or paper and put it on there and you'd wait. And then later on, you'd rip it off and, oh shit, it bleeds some more. You just can't get it to quit bleeding. And a friend of mine in the casino industry said, well, here's a little trick. Just rub some alcohol on it and tell yourself that when you rub yourself with the alcohol, that it's going to stop.
Yep.
And I felt foolish telling myself, okay, when I hit it with the alcohol, you're going to stop bleeding. I'd rub it with the alcohol and it would still bleed. Okay. Not as long, but it would still bleed because the alcohol it's doing a job to dry it out and slow the bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing what he said in relation to telling myself that when the alcohol hits my face, I'm going to stop bleeding. I do that to this day. It doesn't bleed after I hit my face with the alcohol.
Yeah.
In relation to pain, I want to jump back just for a second. When you think of pain medications, they mask,
Yes.
they distract.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking your mind to a place so you don't think about the pain.
They numb you.
Right. So I want you to think about that for a second because this is what I do in everyday life is I distract myself from the pain.
Yeah.
I get up, I walk my dog, I make TikTok videos where I'm looking at the beauty outside and some people are like, well, you live in a desert, Paul. What's so beautiful about that?
Yeah.
I look for the beauty.
Yeah.
I distract myself and I look for other things.
Yes.
If you allow the pain to dictate, I want you to think about this. You get a toothache and that's throbbing.
Yep.
The more you think about it, the worse it gets.
Yes.
And you take a couple Tylenol and it's just like, oh, I wish it would go away. I wish it would go away. And then you get involved with something and you've forgotten.
Yeah.
You've forgotten about the pain. Okay. The Tylenol, it may have been an aid, but guess what? You got distracted because you took something and you told yourself it was going to kill the pain and you distracted yourself and you killed the pain. Because trust me, Tylenol is not going to stop a toothache from fucking aching. All right, people. All right.
Paul, they have so many different things. Even when medical science comes forward and they're trying a new drug and they give people placebos and the people that are on placebos get, come along and, have some miraculous change in their lives because of this. Again, it's what we can tell ourselves. And there's so many, we've become accustomed to finding an answer in a pill. Hey, doc, what do you got for me? Give me a pill and take care of it. And, this actually can work so much faster, than, and again, please, I don't care to get hate mail. I mean, doctors, this, that, or whatever. I think there should be a grand mix. I mean, like for my son, if the cut was worse than what it was, I mean, obviously I would have, taken him. But how many times do we, pack our children up or jump into to the hospital, and we're giving our power away. And so for me, and this, I can only speak from my personal, I wish that I never had the surgery. I wish that it could have turned out a whole lot different, but guess what? It didn't. And so therefore, surgery was required. It just wasn't successful. So therefore, I had to pick up the pieces. And when we're focused on pain, and sometimes that pain, Paul, you know that pain is so, there's nothing but focusing on the pain because it's, tears are coming down your face. Um, just because of the sheer level. I mean, you used to go in and the doctor say, "Hey, what's your pain level?" And it only went up to 10. It was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?
Mhm.
Do you see the tears in my eyes? What level do you think I'm at? 20? Do you have one for 20? Do you have one for 45?" And they um I think even in when we're trying to describe a level of pain, all right, and the doctors do this. What is your level? Where's your smiley face, right?
Mhm.
Then they leave you there, right? They freaking leave you there. They're trying to assess and get that information. And do you know what it takes 3 seconds for them to say, "Hey, what did you have for dinner?" Or, uh, um, you know, what did you have at your last meal? Or where would you like to go on vacation? Ask a different question directly after that so that it shifts something that somebody has to think about. Because what
Yeah.
happens is it leaves that person right directly in. They got to focus on. They've got to really think about what level they're at. Like, come on, people, come on, docs. Let's. I can recognize you got to get an assessment here, but you don't have to leave those people. You're doing a disservice, actually. Coming forward and one question, just
Yeah.
one. What's your favorite color? Something that will shift the focus from that level of pain that they're at. I don't care if it's a level 2 or a level 20. Um, and again, because Paul, you made a really great point about shifting that focus. And
Yeah.
because if you're focused on the pain, you're damn well going to feel it. And you're going to feel it by 100, multiplied to the second component of infinity.
Right.
It can
Well,
get that bad.
the thing of it is, even like the pain chart, it's such a joke because it doesn't give equivalencies. All right. And the first time they asked me on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your pain level? And the first thing I said to them, where does a toothache fall? And they go,
Yeah.
well, that'd probably be about an 8 or a 10. Okay. For my pain scale level, the toothache is a 2, the pain I'm in is a 10.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, so they know they have to have some form of a gauge, right?
Right. They
But
need
when they're asking
association.
you to gauge it, right, when they're asking you to gauge it, then they just leave you there, and they go, "Okay, we're 10, okay, so we can make the assessment." While they walk out of the room, and you're like, "Oh my God, am I really at a 10? No, I'm at a 28. Oh my God, and so um, it's one of my pet peeves, or what I'll do is when I'm in there, like, and the doctor would say, "Well, what's your pain level?" And I'd say whatever it is. And then I'd say, "By the way, my favorite color is purple." Or, "Hey, doc, what did you have for dinner last night?" And they kind of look at me like, "Well, I got to shift something here. You're not going to," and I tell them,
And,
"Do not leave me here at this level. Like, what the hell's the matter with you?" But anyway,
and, and it's really funny is because when I was a kid and I would go to the doctor would have a conversation with you. At least mine did. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
hey, how you been doing lately? Outside of what's going on with this. How was your holidays? Did you get something good for Christmas? Or when's your birthday again? I know it's in the chart here somewhere. When's your birthday? They would. Don't you have a puppy dog? What was
yep.
your dog's name again? My doctor used to do that. Dr. Seitz. Um,
They don't do that anymore.
no, they don't. It's just like,
Treat them, treat them, treat them
yeah,
and treat them. Get them the hell out. Why? Because they have exactly like 10 minutes or 12 minutes, something like that, with each patient. So it's like when, think about it. An individual goes in and they're discussing all the things that are wrong with them, that literally takes up I mean, if a doctor has 10 minutes, that literally takes him about 9. And so the doctor's got to make sure he's got the, the pain level and everything else. And then,
Yeah.
heads up, there's,
It's all about the
they
money nowadays. They don't care about it.
it truly is. And so therefore, and this is why we're bringing this information, forward. There's many different ways. These are just a couple. And I'm only going to speak from the ones that I've actually used. And yes, I have used different breathing techniques and mechanisms and meditations and everything else. And
for the men out
again, just thinking outside the box. If there's people that are looking for ways or means, again, within our own mind, right? Paul talked about it, shifting that focus. And
I just want to.
How would you like it?
I just want to add, because men, we usually don't go to the doctor unless we absolutely have to. Okay, and I want men to realize that you can't push things to the limits. Also, if you have something wrong and it's not getting better, you got to go to the doctor. Okay, because if you wait too long, you're hurting yourself even more, and you just you got to judge it. I mean, it's. I just don't know how to say it. I mean, I almost died because of an abscessed tooth. I put it off for 3 years. I had I have diverticulitis, which is an intestinal disorder, and I was unable to go to the bathroom. And usually, if you can't go for 2 to 3 days, you go to the doctor. I waited a week. I'm a man. I'll get over it. I can handle it. I'll eventually go. It almost killed me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go to the doctor.
Again,
when
you got to be able to. You have to be able to listen to your body. Your body is always going to tell you something, but many times it's like we just push it off and push it off, and it's like technically we should definitely have a relationship with our body. It's like if, say, for instance, you got married back in 1953. Okay, you're married 1953. And your spouse comes up and says, honey, do you love me? And you say, well, yeah, I told you that back in 1953 when we got married. What year is it today? Just because you kind of paid attention once, have a relationship with your body. So it's, you can't just say it once. It's got to be, so what is going on? And when we start becoming more aware or have, that conscious awareness, what happens is we, I guess it's just easier to tune into the body. Like, oh, gee, I haven't had, didn't drink enough water today, or I'm starting to get a headache, or gee, you know what? I'm hungry, right? Your body actually recognizes you're hungry before you actually feel hunger pains.
Correct.
Oh my, you do. It's like, yeah, and then you put it off until it's like, no, I'm starving. It's like, my stomach's, on the backside of my backbone over here. Just again, recognizing
get more in touch with yourself. Yes.
Yeah, and it's like the moment I start feeling distress or pain, it's like, or say I'm doing something and maybe I'm been a little more active than I should have, and if my body is saying rest, I will go lay down and I will rest my body. I have to be able to listen to it. I mean, and I do. I'll put my feet up. I'll lay on the bed in the afternoon. Hey, I'm I'm all for that. Yeah. But that's how I've been able to manage, and I listen to my body.
Yes.
So.
And drink lots of water.
Just because you got married back in 1953 and your spouse told you loved them, well, Yeah, if you're thinking on a relationship with your body, like a relationship with a spouse, you think, would you really still be married if you only heard it once? Or if it was only shown to you once back in
Right.
1953? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Paul, thank you.
Yes.
I really hope that somebody, people were able to glean something from this. We're just trying to put out different thoughts. Possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
I'm sure, with the imaginations that people have out there, um, you know, hey, go for it.
Yes.
Practice.
And if you have more questions, just hit us up in our DMs on Twitter. We'll be more than happy to talk with you. And like I said, it's you move on to the next day and you just keep going. You just keep
Yep.
going.
And that's all you can. And the thing is I'm glad we had a chance to talk about pain because, pain can definitely radically change our lives. And there are mechanisms for dealing with pain.
Yes.
And really, neither one of us are doctors, so if you have to see a professional, then by all means do so.
The painkiller's working for you. Well, then
Yeah.
use the painkiller. But I prefer not to. Again, I would get addicted to it, so I
Yeah.
don't.
And that's why Paul and I are both speaking right now, because we've both have been in the exact same situation. We understand what that pain is, and both of us have chosen something different than the medications. And so we've given a few things that have worked for us or have worked for others, and shared a couple of different techniques. I mean, if you think massage is going to do it for you, then I'll go for it. If you think, what do they call that? I'm having um, a space attack here in my thoughts. The Chinese medicine with the
Acupuncture
thank you, yes, acupuncture
works
can work
wonders.
wonders, absolute wonders. You're definitely not getting an electrical charge with that one.
Right. And the only thing I would say about an acupuncturist and all that, make sure that they have very good recommendations.
Yep.
You really have to research and someone that does acupuncture, because there are people out there that just are not as skilled and it can cause more nerve damage. Be very aware when you're checking out to do acupuncture. It's my only advice on
I
that.
mean, there's so many different things. They have
Yes.
Reiki, they have sound healing, they have I mean, there's so many different ways that can work in conjunction,
Yes.
with a doctor too. So, with that, I'm going to leave that. I would like to say to everyone, happy holidays. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you get a chance to take something back with you. And again, very quickly, just it is. If you can you see that? I can't
Yep.
tell.
Yep. I can see it.
All right, it's the third edition um, map by Small Right. Okay,
All right.
that's the book.
All righty. And for everyone that's here or catches it and all that, at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, I will also be doing an interview today with Cornelia Blackmore. So, yes, so be sure to jump in on that here in about 40 minutes. In the meantime, hey, everyone, be kind, be happy, and may good things come your way. Thank you.
Thanks for being here, guys.